show is not suitable for children, sensitive men, or insecure women. Can you trust somebody that doesn't take care of their kids?
I don't trust no man on earth that does not take care of their children.
What's the biggest red flag in a relationship?
Low effort and not being honest.
Most of the time, you would think that a bad financial mistake would be spending money on clothes or vacation or like spending money on women. My worst financial mistake was buying a home.
Like a king, give me my crown.
Game time. Game time. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
We back. Let's get it. Man.
Where you at? Australia? Mars? You with Elon?
Nah, you know, I had to dip out of the country for a little bit, man. We in Africa. Had to head back to Africa. This time we on the east side of things, Rwanda. So we out here for the BAL, amongst other things. So we're actually gonna be making a few stops while we're in Africa. We're here for.
So you did the Starlink deal already?
Starlink deal is done. The Starlink deal is done. Y'all thought I was playing. I said, look, have your exit plan.
Yep.
Have your exit plan. We spoke about this on Market Mondays. See, the good thing with this, the good thing with us is that when we say things, we actually do it. Like a lot of people just talk on microphones, and that's
never
it.
accomplish anything.
Never do anything.
Yep. Other than review us.
That's a fact. Yeah. But you know, hey, God bless them.
Peekaboo.
But yeah, man, I'm out here. I'm in Rwanda. Man, I gotta be honest with you, man. We just got here. It was a long ass flight, but man, this place is pretty immaculate. Immaculate. It looks like Beverly Hills, man. Like hills. Man, no trash on the street. Super clean. It's pretty
different than depicted in the West, right?
Pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie to you. Pretty impressive. Yeah. But we'll talk about it. We have some dope content that's still getting put out, even though we're not in America. Tomorrow we EYL. We got a dope episode with my boy Ray Daniels, Math Hoffa, Obi. Man, that's a dope conversation. We talk about entrepreneurship, startups. We talking about figuring out the landscape of content creation. Math Hoffa. We talk about dealing with employees, dealing with other people. As a leader, how do you deal with people? Important.
Yeah. How to be resilient.
Life lessons. So, man, that's a really dope episode with a lot of gems. Shout out to all three of those gentlemen. That comes out tomorrow at 6:00 on Earn Your Leisure. And I'll say this too: get your tickets to InvestFest, man. We're not out here for no reason. I'll just say that. I'm not going to give too much away. I'm not going to give too much away. But we ain't travel across the world for no reason. InvestFest, we're pulling out all the stops for this year's InvestFest.
Yes.
Know that. Just know that. So get your tickets, investfest.com. Ian, any announcements?
Yeah, if Elon pop up at InvestFest, I'm retracting everything I said for in 2 hours. He's gonna be there. Amazing stock club call tonight. Love y'all dearly. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. If you want to get rich from the market and not just talk about other people who are rich, go to ianinvest.com and join the Red Panda Stock Club call. I forgive you for you know not what you do.
Red Panda. Shout out to the Red Panda Rebellion.
Yep.
Everybody that's made a decision to take their financial future into their hands and not rely on other people to make sure that, you know, you have stability for you and your family's future. You deserve to be rich. Get the book out right now on all platforms. Okay. So it's a lot going on in the world.
Sure.
And it's a lot to talk about. So, man,
where do we start?
Where do we start?
You know where I want to start.
We gotta let the beat build. Let the beat build. Okay, let's do this. Let's show this clip from Shaquille O'Neal talking about if the NBA draft is rigged or not. Cue the clip, shall we?
With that,
I don't know if you heard this story, but in 1992,
I think the draft was in June or something. I meet Mr. Stern in March. And he says to me, hey, no, you are. Can't wait for you to come to the NBA. Then he pulls me to the side. You want to play where it's cold or where it's hot? He asked me that. Yeah, he did. He asked me that, and I was like, hot. And he smiled, and I smiled. And then a couple of days later, they had the draft thing, and the top 3 things. And then Minnesota was number 3. I was like, and then Charlotte was number 2, and then Orlando, Florida was number 1. I was like, I didn't think anything about it, but you hear a lot of these conspiracy theories, and there's a lot of situations that could make these things sound good and sound true. Like, okay, Dallas gets rid of one of the best players, but we're getting a new one. Ding, 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 ding. So I don't want to use the word conspiracy theory, but it's very interesting.
Okay, interesting perspective. Shaq's always going to say something controversial.
It doesn't mean it's not true, though.
That's a fact. Him saying that he wanted to play for a warm weather team. I mean, there's a 50% chance you're going to play for a warm weather team if you get drafted, right? I mean, LA, all the LA teams are warm weather teams.
Yep.
All of the Florida teams are warm weather teams.
That's
Texas,
5.
Texas.
Well, 16. 6 teams. Dallas
and San Antonio.
Okay, good point.
So
rest in peace, David Stern. Kudos to Shaquille O'Neal.
Shout out to the NBA. Shout out to the NBA, by the way.
For sure.
But I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times I don't see the value. I don't think that sports are rigged. I don't know. Maybe I'm just the delusional person. But I don't look, as far as gambling, that has been proven that there has been players that have betted on games and stuff like that, right? For sure.
Yeah.
What's the value of NBA structure? All right, here's my thing. If that was the case, then the New York Knicks would be in the championship every single year. If it was rigged.
Unless James has some enemies that he's made. But I'm gonna be real. I'm a Cape. Shout out to Red Panda Sports. I'll save my real thoughts for this after I get like another 40 or 50 million. Then we'll have it. Thank you. Yeah. So shout out to the NBA PA, NBA G League.
So
shout out to all the agents.
Thank you.
Kyrie, Brian, Mav, Clutch 4-2. Prospects, run your game, all y'all. Dave Portnoy, everybody. No.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Peekaboo.
Gotcha. I want y'all to wake it up after another 50 or 60.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So. But yeah, it's one of these things. I'll tell you what, when you talk about sports, man, shout out to those New York Knicks, man.
For sure.
When you're talking about the essence of sports, it's crazy how sports can really change the trajectory of a city. Not that New York obviously wasn't New York, but you can feel the energy.
The energy.
There's an energy shift in New York right now. So my question is, so they put this on Instagram. Who had New York more lit during their time frame? Who meant more to the city of New York? Carmelo Anthony or Jalen Brunson?
That's tough. I like Jalen a lot. I would say Carmelo, but I mean, clearly, if they get to the finals, even better question: if he wins a title, is he the second or third most important Knick of all time?
I'll say this, and I know Melo. That's my guy. Shout out to Melo. Came to my birthday party.
Melo had New York lit, yo.
Me being non-biased. I don't think it's even a fair comparison because the New York Knicks have not gone to a conference final in 25 years.
Yep.
So Jalen Brunson already has done things that hasn't been done since when Latrell Sprewell, when he was there, and Allen Houston. So Jalen Brunson is more impactful than Carmelo Anthony. That's just my opinion. No disrespect. I'm not saying that he's a better player.
Yeah.
I'm saying that his impact on New York City is more impactful.
Is that because of coaching, management change, because I feel like Melo got railroaded. Not making excuses, but I don't feel like he got the same support that this regime of the Knicks has received.
For sure, definitely. I mean, they got World Wide West. People don't even know. People don't even know that. World Wide West is a special advisor of basketball. That's when they really start to win, honestly. So they got World Wide West, they got Tibbs, and it's not just Jalen. They have a very good team. They have a scrappy team. That Nova team, I like Cat. I like the addition of adding him.
Addition of Cat is great.
No, they got a good team, and they got a scrappy team. But Jalen Brunson is just the star player of the team. So, the star is always going to get credit. But I put it like this. I've never seen New York City like this before. Me personally. And I've never seen New York this excited, this lit for basketball.
Yeah.
And New York is a basketball town. So
for sure.
We saw the Giants win. We saw the Yankees win. But it's nothing like the Knicks. Even the Brooklyn Nets. There's nothing like the New York Knicks is New York's team.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
New York's team.
Even the difference, like shout out to the Nets. I love y'all. Appreciate it. They'll call. Hey, we got season tickets. The Knicks not calling you like that. Selling no tickets.
No,
they're gone. Sorry.
MSG and there's a reason why all of these concerts are being done at Barclays for a reason. Because it's cheaper to do a concert in Barclays than it is in MSG.
Absolutely.
MSG is premium. That's Manhattan. Like, no matter what, New York City still runs through Manhattan.
For sure.
New York City still runs through Manhattan. Manhattan is the Mecca. That is the capital of New York City. So when New York City, when you got the Garden lit, it's just a special feeling in the city. So feeling. I would say Jalen. And if the New York Knicks win a champ, I'm gonna say something controversial.
No, don't do that. We can't. What was my man with the chops? Walt Frazier, Bernard King. There's some people who go on that list first.
If the New York Knicks win a championship this year, Jalen Brunson might be number one, bro.
The greatest Knick of all time.
He not only the greatest Knick of all time, he might be the most important player in New York City history.
That's
because when you're thinking about
New York City, put it in the comments what you think.
When you think about New York City, you got
Ray for Austin.
Well, I'm talking about sports.
Oh, sports. Okay.
You got Derek Jeter.
For sure. A-Rod.
Yeah, A-Rod's one of these players. A-Rod is a better player than Derek Jeter, for sure. But what he meant to New York City,
the heart of the city.
Derek Jeter, to me, was more important to New York City than A-Rod.
At least
I think of Eli Manning.
Yeah.
No matter how you feel about Eli, he's a two-time champion.
Yep.
I think of Lawrence Taylor.
For sure. Icon.
Right?
Patrick Ewing, John Starks.
Yes.
John Starks dunked on Jordan.
No, John Starks is a legend. I wouldn't put him at that level, though.
Are we talking A-list?
A-list, super A-list.
Okay, got you.
But, man, Messier. What's the hockey player? Messier.
Yeah.
How you pronounce it?
And then Steinbrenner family, too.
But, man, Jalen Brunson, because New York City is built around basketball. So if Jalen Brunson brings the Knicks the first championship since 1976, because the Yankees always win. The Yankees always win championships, right? Even the Giants have like 5-6 championships. So it's like if the New York Knicks win a championship for the first time since 1976, I think Jalen Brunson got to be in consideration of the greatest professional athlete in New York history.
Greatest Knick, I can go with. Greatest athlete out in New York history.
Too far? I went too far.
I would put Jeter up there. I'm not from New York though.
Derek Jeter.
Honorary.
Shout out to Derek Jeter.
Yeah, shout out to Derek Jeter.
That's the captain. Okay.
Yeah. But shout out to JB, good dude. A lot of heart. That Villanova squad, amazing. I think Cat does not get enough credit for making an adjustment. And also Julius Randle, he adjusted really well in Minnesota. You got to give him credit for that move. So But yeah, I definitely hope y'all can take it this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sticking with sports, our boy Bill Belichick got engaged. 24-year-old Jordan, that 4-pack working boy.
Billy B.
So
Billy B.
She may be one of the best investors of all time.
She got one.
Bill 74. How many years? Oh, I don't want to do that. Never mind. But anyway. Shout to Jordan. We need you at Invest Fest. Blackout edition. How to catch a simp.
How to catch a simp.
For no prenup.
I'll tell you what, man. First of all, congratulations.
Yes. Love is beautiful.
First and foremost, congratulations.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about this, man. I don't want to be disrespectful to his relationship.
He deserves love, and so does she. Love comes in all forms, Rashad.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 4-pack clearly is working. So whatever I talked about last week, it's working for Bill. She said yes. So go Belichick and go UNC. I do owe an apology. Speaking of apologies, Google. I know what I said on Market Mondays. I've been on a tear criticizing. I shot the Ty. Ty has showed me that notebook, LM, and then they have the AI mode come into a search. Google AI products are tough. I'm not paid. They did not send me an email. They didn't text me. I just went down a little rabbit hole. Apple, you better catch up. You're about to be in 19th place. So I want to, shout out to my guys who work at Google too. But I went and looked at that notebook, LM. My God. Whew.
Impressive.
Incredible. Yep.
Shout out to Google, man.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Google.
Yeah.
Shout out to Google.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it time to get spicy?
Let's get to it. That's why I'm here.
Okay.
That's why I'm here. Y'all set your own leather jacket. Okay. It's time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Entitlement? Let's talk about entitlement.
Let's talk about it.
Entitlement is a disease of the heart, ladies and gentlemen, and it's contagious. But I think we've really got to have a conversation with entitlement, not just in our community, in the whole world. But let's start with our community.
Yes.
Man, it's pretty amazing how people. You know what? I think people have unrealistic views of themselves.
For sure.
And what I mean by that is that awareness in the marketplace is vitally important, right? Like I think people lack awareness of their value in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Meaning, everybody's the most important person in their life, to themselves, which is understandable because a toothache to you is more important than a tsunami in Indonesia, right? Because that directly affects you. That's on your mind. You're thinking about it. You can't sleep. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is self-centered on a certain level, and that's okay. That's human nature. Mm-hmm. But it's also important to have some level of self-awareness to know your value and your current position in the marketplace and to be humble about it, right?
And what you rank.
Meaning, sometimes people will look at themselves in a light that nobody else looks at themselves in. Mm-hmm. Right? And that leads to disappointment because it's like, damn, like you ain't do this for me, you ain't put me on here, you ain't do this, you ain't do that. But it's like you're not even thinking about that person because to you they're not even on your radar.
Yeah,
respectfully, right? But the entitlement thing is really disturbing because it's like you work to build a platform, you work to do something, you work to actually be in a position, and then people think that the work that you put in is their red carpet and entry. They want to bypass all of the work that you put in. They want to bypass all the sacrifices. They want to bypass all the sleepless nights and say, okay, you built this house. You built the house with your bare hands. It took you 5 years to build this house. You had to go through rain, permits. You had to go through all of this. Why don't I have a bedroom inside your house?
No, the master bedroom. And you sleep in the guest room. You built it, but I want the master, my boy. Crazy.
Like, think about how crazy that is. Think about how crazy that. Think about somebody being mad because they don't have a place inside your house, or they don't have 24 access to your refrigerator, or they don't have keys to your house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, bro, this is my house.
Yep. Best piece of advice I can give to anybody out there who wants to be critical is advice that I took when Jury first introduced, because I know some of y'all want to rewrite history on who introduced me to Troy and Rashad. When Jury introduced Troy and Rashad to me, she came back to me and said, hey, he wasn't familiar, but it could happen. The first thing I did was say, oh, my boy familiar? Sincerely, Ian Dunlap, the master investor, and posted like crazy. A lot of y'all don't have no catalog for what y'all be talking about. I'm going to be real. The entitlement is there because the money and actual success in real life is not there. I've noticed the people that have actually accomplished it don't have that much entitlement. I would like the opportunity to da-da-da-da-da. Bay boy, it's been 5 years. You would be much better suited investing for the next 5 years opposed to talking about me, because when I went on Google, right, 10,000 views pay like what, $300? If you send me a cash up, I'll bless you. But a lot of y'all have entitlement over work you have not put in. Whether my take is off putting or Rashad take is off putting, we put on for ourselves first. Some people hit me like, yo, why haven't they replied? Do more work to get there. Also, too, I'm going to say this. Quit trying to come at the finish line and then want to bleach on and bandwagon. Yo, I want to go in. When you go on stage in the Vest Fest, no, I done did 700 shows to get the right to be like, yo, can I get a 3 p.m. slot, please? Sunday, right? No, do the work. Get hot on your own. No.
Nah, it's real shit. And what it, you know,
be the best at your craft. I'm gonna cut you off. Too many of y'all are talking all this like I'm elite, great shit because you have not accomplished it, but you're not best at your craft. You don't have to like me. When I came in, no one else black was talking about futures trading and investing together in tandem, and I was already independently financially wealthy from what I said I was doing. Be great at what you do. And then after you're great at what you do, find a way for that ecosystem to make some money off of your greatness. A lot of you just want to take. And the reason why a lot of you don't get quote unquote put on, because we can see the snake in you before you even slither your ass around. But what do I know?
That's a fact. No, it's a fact. And that's real. Like, it's like, you know, one of these things, speaking about InvestFest, I know it's become a cultural phenomenon and, you know, people are excited to speak, but nobody, I don't think people fully understand, right? Nobody has to speak. Just because you feel in your mind that you've earned this spot, well, that doesn't mean anything because you're not paying for it. It's not your event. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to get on some real, like, what it paid for. I'm about to get on some real bullshit. I'm about to get on some real bullshit these days. Cause you know what? You try to be nice and it gets thrown in your face. And nice guys finish last. If you haven't put no money up, if you haven't contributed, if you haven't helped the platform in any sense, if you haven't liked the picture and reposted, don't ever speak to me in life about what is owed to you. Yeah. Nobody knows you 9 times out of 10. And in the grand scheme of life, you haven't done anything. Like, this is the harsh reality that I'm speaking to a variety of different people. What have you done? Mm-hmm. What have we done? We've done a lot. What have you done? You haven't done anything. Speaking of the Knicks, Madison Square. Hey, baby boy, I know you said you think that you affected my bottom line. I'm the only one in this space who shut down memberships for a year and didn't let nobody buy from me. Then I went to the Garden and I did some with Chase. Shout out to JP Morgan Chase and others, right, who have been incredibly supportive of the brand. Listen, the critiquing is for those who have not created anything. It's not going to do what you want. And
oddly enough, when y'all are too critical, that's when them organizations get. How do they get to BlackRock? Some of y'all hate sentiment leads to the push. Yeah, chasing. Let's do this then. Be mindful, be respectful, but be the best at your craft first, and find a way to help, or just make your own event.
And if you're a man talking about another man, it's embarrassing to be your woman. I'm so embarrassed for your girl, for your wife. I'm so embarrassed for her. I'm so embarrassed for her. I might just send her roses because I'm sure she got to be ashamed of the person that she picked to have children with, or the person that she picked to have a family with, the person that she picked to split rent with, because you talking about another man.
More than my girl talk about me. Hey, baby. And you know, when I get to send them flowers, it's about 400 or 500. Don't make me get upset. And send an Etouffleur Deluxe, motherfucker. What? Shipping right out from Petty. You know what I mean?
You lame.
But I get it.
And like you said, we talking about InvestFest. That's the biggest in the world. 40,000 people over the course of the weekend. Madison Square Garden. Market Mondays at Madison Square Garden. That's where the Knicks play. Royal Albert Hall. You never even been. These guys only heard about Royal Albert Hall because we played at Royal Albert. You know who else played at Royal Albert Hall? The Beatles. Adele. The Beatles, bro. Like, what are we talking about, man? Come on, man. You deserve to be rich as a New York Times bestseller. Y'all gotta be honest with yourself. There's levels. There's levels in life. Stay at the lower level until you get to a higher level. But throwing rocks at the throne is only going to lead to you getting headaches.
For sure. And shout out to those who really cooking. Like, I'd be happy to see Chris Johnson at the game. Salute. I mean, Joe Budden Seats. He and Joe Budden Seats. Salute. Cool. Seats. Right? Fat Joe, be careful. See what you're trying to do. It ain't working. Love you. Shout Jada. Shout JY. Ooh. I see you cooking, getting in the beef. But it's just, and I'll say this too, a lot of people want that moment. When I saw people who were doing well, like I remember I went to the Black Enterprise Conference. The next year I talked to people about speaking. They were like, hey, I was literally told, get more popular and then I'll allow you to speak. And now, shout to Black Enterprise. Shout to BET. You know, like, work your craft until the world tells you you're so good that you cannot be ignored. So
you're lame. And that goes for men and women. You're lame.
But especially the men.
You're lame.
Yeah. Speaking of what, you need some like vitamin C. You need a little scrub. Life look like it's been rough to you.
Yeah, you lame, I love man. Y'all lame. And shout out to my boy Dave Shan, Social Proof Podcast. I forgot to mention. Support Black business. This is the Social Proof shirt that I'm wearing. You know, shout out to a real one that doesn't hate. A lot of y'all would go further in life if you wasn't such fucking diabolical haters.
For sure. And it doesn't work, especially for the little ass check.
And glizzy eaters.
Joe, Fat Joe, you are crazy. Well, what do you say? I'm a serial glizzy boy.
Shout out to Joe. That's my man.
I fuck with Joe. I like Joe a lot. Shout out to Joe's a good dude. Shout out to Jada. Cool. Crazy.
Yeah. Diabolical. That was a diabolical moment. All right.
You have a very interesting lens on life, relationships, business. Do you think the person who usually cares in a relationship ultimately wins in the end?
The person that cares.
The less.
The person that cares the less wins.
Yeah, or the least. Excuse me.
I don't think that's a good way to go about it, though. Business negotiations, the person that is willing to walk away is the person with the most leverage.
For sure.
So if we relate that to relationships, and you can say the person that is willing to walk away, which AKA is the person that cares the least, or at least outwardly projects that they care the least, has the most leverage.
Yeah,
I would say that's true. But I think it's important to have some level of vulnerability in a relationship. And I don't think you should go into that with a business negotiation type of mindset.
Okay.
Because nobody wins when the family feuds. Like, that is like, nobody wins when the family feuds. I think it's a situation where y'all should both be trying to elevate each other.
I agree.
Now, there is a thing called the seesaw.
Tell me more.
Well, one person has more power in a relationship than the other person. There's never shared power. That's a myth.
I agree with that 1,000%. That's a myth. Yes.
So one person usually, and it could be male or female,
Mm-hmm.
but one person usually holds more power in a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't care, because you could hold 90% of the power and still care more than the other person.
You're doing some high level ism. Go ahead. Keep talking. What? My brain. Wait, what?
Still care more. Like, you can still, just because you're powerful doesn't mean you don't care. You can have the power. You can have all the power in a relationship. You could be paying all the bills. You could be making all the decisions. You could be the
oh yeah, that's true.
Decision maker, the power broker in the relationship, and care more than the other person.
Yeah. That study came out that men die at double the rate of heartbroken disease than women. So that's very true.
Yeah, men don't get it twisted, and we see this with the lunatics that hate. Men are more emotional than women. Absolutely,
way more.
Especially in the last,
especially in this era. Yes,
I think something has changed in the geometric code of
microplastics.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Tap water, the water, perhaps, or the food. But this new generation of men are more emotional than women. And women have become more stern. They have become more aggressive. They have become more masculine on a certain level than men. So it's all fucked up in America. These dudes, man.
Mm-hmm. What can you do? We can be better. There's always ways you can be better. So
yeah. So I'm not surprised that men die of heartbrokenness, because they lames. They fucking lames.
Rashad, if you've been with somebody 24 years and lame. This has been your boo-boo, your everything for your whole life, and then she passes at the freak off, you're going to be sad.
That's one thing. Okay, that's one thing. But another thing is that you catch your girl cheating, and you, like, if you with somebody and then they pass away, okay, that's understandable. Yeah. If you with somebody and you kill them cheap, and now you want to fucking do life in jail because you're trying to crash out and kill somebody type shit, you lame. Yeah. You're lame. There's no excuse. Like, we gotta start being honest. It's never no excuse to crash out. You don't kill somebody. You don't like ruin somebody's life because your girl's cheating on you, bro. It's part of the game. You chose up. She chose up. Like, man up, man. Walk outside, put your head up, and be a fucking man.
This was not in Charlemagne's book. What was the mental health book?
Because there's too much soft shit going on right now. All this fucking shit out there, everybody wants to be like, I understand. I'm all for therapy. I'm all for tapping into your sensitive side. But I'm also all for stop being a bitch.
Hello.
Respectfully. I'm all for that. I'm all for men stop being a bitch. Your girl cheated on you, bro. Life lesson.
Call it.
Happens.
Level up and don't look back. And then even for all y'all who level up, though, quit being like, yo, in 3 years she gonna regret miss. No, she not. No, she not. No, she not. She gonna be with OBJ or motherfucking Stephon or something. No, she not. Motherfucking Carl Anthony Town. Y'all be joking. I mean, Rudy Gobert, goofy. No, okay. You see some people outside, girl collection, shot to Floyd. So, gotta be careful. But fellas, what do you think? Do we need more manliness in this era, or do we need to continue to tap into our more sensitive sensibilities?
Talking about, yo, bro, I ain't going for it. You already went for it.
3 times.
Oh, she better not have nobody around my kids. Like, you haven't put her in you ain't put her in a situation where that couldn't even have happened to begin with.
That's true.
Like, if it was the situation was curated correctly, then you wouldn't even have to worry about that type of shit. Like, you 7 months back on your child support talking about she better not have nobody around my kids. Pay your dues.
Or even if you got a bag, you still better spend some time, because it's gonna be somebody broke spending time with your girl.
I had it up to here with this nut shit, man.
Yeah, Somebody made you mad on the flight over? Elon. What Elon did to piss you off? Yeah.
Okay.
On the lighter note,
stop caping.
Yeah, I hate that. And y'all pandering. You don't. This is why I went off an old boy about. We don't need to pander. Life's going well. Oh boy, you're like, yo, stuff affected your bottom line. As long as Ninja Trader cut on and Charles Schwab good, I am good. For the record, I don't know about you.
You're lame.
Mm-hmm.
You're lame.
Yep. So, but peace and blessings to you. And I'll see why ladies be so mad, like dealing with some of the comment. Even on the bring a gift. Yo, if y'all so rich, why y'all need somebody to bring a gift to the wedding? It's called etiquette. It's like if you go to the cookout, bring some paper plates or something.
Let's stop normalizing being a bum. You talking about, like, somebody made a good point. If you invite somebody to a dinner, right, and you go to a dinner, like let's say that Ian invites me to a dinner, right? I'm going prepared to pay because I'm going to eat. Now he's going to probably cover it because he's a gentleman, but I'm not in my mind going with $0 in my pocket, no credit card at all, and I'm gonna drink 3 espresso martinis, and I'm gonna order fucking the Branzino, and I'm gonna have calamari. That's the equivalent of going to a wedding. You're eating for free, you're drinking for free, you're gonna have some level of entertainment that happens, and you just want to walk away on some like, whoa, I didn't tell you to get married. We got to stop normalizing being bums. Like, yo, stop being cheap. Stop being cheap.
Yep.
Stop being a bum. Don't tip 20%, tip 25%.
At least.
Right? Like, you got to understand the reason why you don't have money is because you're hoarding it. You're hoarding it and you don't even have it. It's a scarcity mindset that's going to keep you at the lowest level of poverty. You have to have an abundance mindset. Money's going to come back to you. Money only comes back to you if it flows freely. You trying to hoard.
It's a real thing.
And you're hoarding nothing. You're literally hoarding nothing, right? And I seen this at the highest level. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to help people because it's like you're trying to skim on every single. You don't want to tip your barber. You don't want to tip the trash people. You want to go to a wedding and then you wonder why your life is in the situation that it's
why
in.
Customers don't flow into you and pour into you.
It's the law of reciprocity. Yeah. Yes, I have pride in paying my barber more. I have pride in doing that because why not? Because I understand that I stimulate his economy is going to come back to me.
And on top of that too, every time I write my tip out, I say, God, please give me this back 100-fold. Doing it when I had no money. Like it works. And also some of those same people you meet, you will be surprised. They end up mentioning your name in other conversations and they end up buying something from you. I probably in the last 2 years had 6 or 7 people end up buying Stock Club or a relative did from me tipping them well. You got to pay it forward. Now, you got to have a great business model. Unlike some of y'all who do critiques, you got to have a great business model and something to offer that gives a return. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. But you can't be tight with the money. I'm not saying to be so flippant or mismanage the money, but you can't be so cheap that nothing can flow out.
And that's a fact. And I was never cheap. I ain't gonna be like, oh, well, y'all got it. When I was broke, I was not cheap. When I was broke. Yep. When I was broke, I was not cheap. I was never a cheap person. Yeah. Like I always was a generous person. I'm always going to tip somebody. I'm always going to give a gift at a wedding, even if I have it or if I don't have it, because I understand that not having money is temporary. Being broke is a permanent mindset. Yep. Right. Not having money it was ups and downs. Everybody can have a season when you don't have money. There's nothing wrong with that. That we hustlers, like, things happen. Being broke is a permanent mindset. That's a mentality. Yeah. That's a mentality, right? So I never had a broke mentality. I had seasons when I didn't have money, but I never looked at myself as like, damn, I have a broke mentality, so I'm gonna try to skim. I'm gonna try to steal from this person. I'm gonna try to do that. Like, no. Yeah. And that's why I don't trust a thief.
No, that's a big lesson. Oh yeah, not taking care of them kids, and you're a thief, thieving? No, I'm good. You'll kill me.
I'll never trust a thief, because if you're a hater, if you could take something from somebody, right? Like, that's the lowest. I don't care if I'm down to my last dollar. I'll go outside and I'll figure it out. I'm not going to go into somebody's pocket and take money from them. Yeah. Like, I don't care if you're a robber, if you're a scammer, if you like, all of that's the same to me. You're a thief.
Yeah.
There's no honor in being a thief, no matter how you dress it up. No matter how you dress it up, or he's a jack boy, or he's a scammer, or he's getting money. No, you're a thief. At the core element, you're a thief, and you're the lowest level. You're a piece of shit. So I can never associate with a thief, and I'll never have a thief in my house. I'll never have a thief as my friend, because these are the lowest levels of human beings. Yeah. You can take something from somebody. You feel comfortable taking something from somebody. You have no moral code at all. You'll do anything.
Yeah, a murder comes with the thievery.
Yeah,
I'm good. Stay away from me. I'm good.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Okay. You need to. It sound like you need to meditate.
I'm good.
We need a break.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Oh man.
Okay. Can we talk about Africa?
Yes, I do have a question for you. Between Eritrea, Ghana, Nigeria, and Ethiopia, since you're in Africa, I had to ask. South Africa. Which country has the finest women in Africa?
Sheesh. That's a tough question. Shout out to all the African queens, and this is purely from a observant standpoint, right? Outside of observer, and I haven't been to majority of the countries in Africa. We are in Rwanda right now, so this is speaking from what I've seen. Even if they might not even be, haven't visited that country, but you can still see a lot of people that might have come from different countries to live in America. You travel, you get to see certain things. I would definitely put the whole East African bloc in there. Somalia, might be number one. Ethiopia and Eritrea. Eritrea.
And with the third pick, make the earth sick.
Yeah. Now, yeah, for sure. What I've heard about South Africa is only positive. I haven't actually been to South Africa.
Yeah.
But South Africa, if from what I'm hearing, that would definitely be on the list.
For my world travelers in the comments, for those of you who have traveled and been there, put in the comments, where would you rank the countries?
I don't want to leave the West Side out. So I would definitely say Senegal.
Okay.
I would say Senegal, Gambia.
Okay.
If we talk in North Africa, we got to go Morocco.
Morocco, probably, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. World traveler. Culture, man.
But there's beautiful women all over the world, beautiful women all over Africa. That's important just to highlight, not from a physical beauty, but it's important to highlight because we've been pushed a certain aesthetic of beauty.
For sure.
Which is, looks one way, right? And that's been pushed to the world. And I was having this conversation with somebody, even if you go to countries where there's large Black populations, the beauty that has been pushed is not Black. Meaning, for instance, Brazil has the biggest Black population outside of the continent of Africa lives on the country of Brazil. Brazil obviously is known for having beautiful women, right? But any beauty pageant winner that comes out of Brazil, Miss Brazil, is always a white-skinned person.
The European lens, yeah.
So there's never a dark-skinned Brazilian woman that's shown as the face of beauty. So when you think about Brazil, you think about beautiful women for sure, but you're thinking about whiter-skinned women. You're not thinking about darker-skinned women, but there's a lot of dark-skinned women in Brazil. Colombia is the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most people don't even know that there's a huge Black population in Colombia.
Absolutely.
Like Black, dark skin. Like there's dark skinned people in Colombia.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes from Africa, right? That's a direct line. There's more Black people in Central America than there is in North America. That's another fact that people don't know. There's more Black people in Central America than there's more Black people in South America than there is in North America.
Absolutely.
So even countries like the Philippines, like there's dark skinned people, but you don't see India, You don't see that representation in these movies that they have and stuff like that. So why is that? Right? Even if you look at a country like Jamaica, when you think of even outside of women, you think of the highest selling artist of all time in Jamaica, right? Those are light-skinned mixed race people.
Absolutely.
Even Bob Marley, rest in peace. I mean, he's the great champion of Pan-Africanism, but Bob Marley is a light-skinned mixed race person. You look at Sean Paul. Sean Paul is a light-skinned mixed race person. You look at Shaggy. Shaggy's a light-skinned mixed race person, right? Why, these are people that sold 10 million. Now you look at the darker skinned people. You look at Bounty Killer. He's a legend, but he never reached the pop star status of the other people. Yeah. When you look at even Vybz Kartel, he's getting his flowers now. He did, came out of jail, but Vybz Kartel doesn't have those top 100 hits like Shaggy. He means a lot to the culture. Yeah, but he didn't sell more records than Shaggy or Sean Paul or anything like that, right? So even for him, right, like they asked him, well, why'd you bleach your skin? His skin is back to normal now, but he bleached his skin, and I think he gave a real honest answer. He was like, look, I could make excuses for it, but honestly, it came down to just self-love. Like it came down to, being brainwashed. Yeah. And that happens when you only see depictions of a certain group of people that are beautiful. Right, psychologically, you start to think that you're not beautiful. Right, you want to have you want to start bleaching your skin. You want to start, doing a variety of different things that are not natural to you, who you are, because you don't feel comfortable. So I think it is important to highlight that, because man, if not, it's a dangerous precedent that's set for girls, but for boys too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're a historian. You took a messy shade room topic and turned it to a historical lens of colonialism through the last. Ooh,
tastefully done. Tastefully done.
Great job, yo.
You got you got to tastefully do
1-3-1 don't work. 3-2, 2-3 nothing works. Boy's a master. That's how you get on the investment stage. Yeah, bring some other value.
But man, I'll tell you this though, before we leave the Africa conversation, like I said, we just got to Rwanda, but man, every time we come to Africa, man, it's just so peaceful, relaxed, tranquil, like just talking to smart people that's doing great things in business, progressive conversations. Man, it feels so good to be out here. You're really doing yourself a disservice if you haven't come to the continent. Anywhere on the continent, like there's so many different places. They'd be like, well, Africa's not a country. You could just pick a place to go, but every time that we come, the energy is just right. Like the energy is really right. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like the energy, it feels good. Like it really, really, really feels good.
Feel like you're at home.
For sure, definitely. Yeah. And hospitality, everybody's super hospitable. Hospitality's on 1,000. Like it's just, it's a great feeling to be in Africa.
And there's a lot of investors who are starting to talk publicly about Africa being the next best investment. But if it is, you're going to see a lot more propaganda come out until they buy all of it up. You have to be very mindful of the propaganda games that are being played right now with the continent. So, but if the big companies like Meta and Google and Apple plan to be there, there's a reason why.
There's still tons of opportunity. Like, don't think like it's over. Like, it's tons of it's tons
still
of
ground floor
all over the continent. There's tons of, and they are once again narratives and support, like open for business, welcoming people from America. Like, it's not like what you might think it is. Like, where it's like, oh, I don't want an American here. I don't like American black people. Like, I don't even like. That's
a narrative
case,
too,
bro. It's not the case, man. Yeah. So that's actually a very misleading, limited, ignorant viewpoint. That's hurtful. That's another thing that's hurtful.
Yeah. What's a piece of advice that changed your life, but you hated it when you first heard it?
The piece of advice that changed my life that I hated it when I first heard it. I don't know. I gotta think about that. What about you?
Be great at everything, and don't be great at singularly one thing. It's one of them conversations I had with Jury. I was like, oh, I want to do the media. I want to do all that. She's like, what's the alternative? I talked to my dad about it. What's the alternative? You can either be great at what you do and a few other things to create a super moat, or you can just rely upon this one thing, and it may not go how you want it to go. And shout out to Ebony. We went to college together. Legend in the media space, good GMA. At first, Ebony couldn't get me in a video. Now I'm all in video dancing. You know what I mean? So being great at a multitude of things at one time. That is even Buffett's get the credit for being the grandpa lowly but people forget every time he gets on stage or does those interviews with Becky Quick, he over delivers in those interviews. Media icon. Before him, there were not that many investors that were beloved. Like Buffett is almost like Santa Claus for investors, if you will. So for him to take on that character, and that may not be his day-to-day disposition all the time, while being a great investor and being great at a few other things, is something that I definitely modeled. But I hated that shit when I first heard it. I'm like, I don't want to fucking get good at interviewing it, you know, but
yeah, that's a fact. You know what? I can't even think of it, honestly. I gotta maybe go back later on in the show, but I can't really think of anything that I hated.
Okay.
Because I think that even if I don't like it, I can internalize good information and say, you know what?
I see the value in it.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important in life. You don't gotta like something to actually. You can't beef with information.
True indeed.
Wallow said that before on an Instagram clip. Don't beef with the information. You don't have to like the person that's delivering the information. You don't even have to like the information that's being delivered.
Yep.
But don't beef with information.
You can't argue with the facts. Yep.
Don't beef with the information. For instance, like if you love Ian and you hate me, right? But you watch the show because it's entertaining, but you just hate me, but you love Ian. That's fine. You don't have to like me, right? But let's say I say something that might be helpful and beneficial. Like let's say I say, okay,
quit being a bitch.
Or like stop networking from a selfish standpoint, right?
Yep.
You go into people asking them to be you go into somebody asking them, can they mentor you? That's not helpful because people that are really up don't have time to mentor somebody. Like now you might have just asked Maverick Carter, can you be my mentor? Right. So me saying that is triggering. It's already triggering because it's coming from me and you don't like me. And then it's doubly triggering because you literally just had that experience happen to you yesterday, right? And now it's like I'm telling you that's not a good way to go about it. So that you don't like the information that I'm telling you because it's triggering, and you don't like the person that's coming from that's triggering. But internally, you realize that I've done this. I've asked Maverick Carter, I've asked Rich Paul, I've asked Steve Harvey, and it hasn't worked yet. So damn, he's kind of right in what he's saying, right?
Make the adjustment.
Don't beefing with the information where you say, nah, fuck, screw him. I don't like what he's saying. I don't like him. I'm going to keep doing this. You're going to keep doing the same thing. You're going to keep getting the same results. Now, if you adjust it, and now the next time you say, hey, I have a value add proposition for you. I see that you're not on TikTok. I've built my TikTok following to 300,000. I want to run your TikTok for free for 6 months. And I guarantee you that you'll get 100,000 followers on TikToks in 6 months, or you don't even have to pay me for like. I guarantee it's hard to turn down, right? So you don't have to like the person, you don't have to like the information, but don't beef with information.
And even that, what does it pay you, or what return on investment does it give you to not like someone? I see that in our community too when they'll talk about Dave Ramsey. I don't have a relationship with him, but if you go look at what he's amassed in this space, he's living by what he says. Maybe you may not like a take about Bitcoin. I get it. But he's debt-free. Businesses are debt-free. What does it pay you to not like someone? I think that's a mistake. Because you can learn a lot. I tell people all the time, I learn the most from my enemies. They'll tell me some shit, and what I need to adjust, I write it down. I'm like, damn, are you dumb enough to tell me this again? Cool, thank you. Appreciate it. Write in that Google Doc. Cool. Write it down. Cool. Peekaboo. So, but what do we know?
What do we know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Even with somebody like Dave Ramsey's, right? You don't have to be right about everything. You just got to be right about one thing. So even if you're listening to information, you don't have to listen to every single thing somebody says and implement every single thing that somebody says. They might not be right on every single thing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're not successful.
Yeah.
Like Dave Ramsey can be like totally wrong about Bitcoin, but he's still rich.
Yes.
So he's done something right.
Yes. And the businesses are going well, and that's fruit off of his tree that he's helped elevate themselves as well. And that 7-step system does work.
And that's true with everybody. Kramer is wrong about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But he's rich. So he's right about something.
He got something right. And he worked at Goldman and could trade. Yep.
He's right about something.
Yeah.
Right? Like, y'all stop trying to find criticism in somebody who has reached levels of success that you have not reached.
Because what's going to happen is those people are going to walk away. Not just saying us, but
no, because how you do one thing is how you can do everything. You can always find fault in something. So you're looking from a critical standpoint to find fault in something, right? As opposed to looking from an optimistic standpoint to find something that is potentially valuable that you can add. So you do the same thing with your friends. You find fault in your brothers. You find fault in your sisters, right? You looking at them from such a critical landscape that no matter what they do, it's like, oh, they got you. This is where you fall. You're supposed to hide the flaws of your brother. You're not supposed to find flaws in your brother and point it out to the world. This is another reason why you haven't reached the level of success in life, because you are looking at life from a judgmental, critical standpoint, as opposed to looking at life from an optimistic, opportunist standpoint. That's hurting you. That's hurting you.
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you, because it's like, that's the society that we live in. It's always like, oh, what'd he do? What happened there? What happened with this? Our culture highlights people's failures, right? As entertainment.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's entertainment to see somebody fall. It's entertainment to see somebody struggle, right? But you got to realize that one fall that person had, they had 30 other successes. They did 30 things right before he did that one thing wrong. So yes, they did that one thing wrong. But you only posted on your page the humiliation of that one thing that was done wrong. You never highlighted the 30 things that was done right.
Yeah. Do you think that'll ever change in our community?
Man, I don't know. I really don't know.
I know it makes these calls to these other organizations, and okay, I feel you.
I really don't.
Even on Market Mondays, I say, if y'all tired of me talking, I'll just stop talking.
And that's why I'm in Africa.
Sean Ball.
Sometimes in life, sometimes you realize you can't change a machine, so you have to work on a new machine.
For sure. Yep. Just like high school. After I left high school, I ain't go to no more games at Bishop No. Shout out to Bishop No, love y'all. Shout out to Warrior Lorenzo. Hey, Mike Patrick. Ooh. After that, it was done. So,
I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes in life it's too toxic. You gotta amputate. They amputate, like if somebody has diabetes, right? They amputate somebody's foot, they amputate somebody's leg because it's going to spread.
Yeah.
The blood clots is going to spread, right? So in order to save the body, sometimes they amputate a foot.
Speaking of medical issues, the right-wing side believes that President Biden may have had prostate cancer while he was in office. Do you think there's any truth to that?
I don't know. Potentially. But what does that matter? What does that even matter? People,
because medically he may not have been fit to run the country. I think that's the angle.
Well, I mean, he stepped down. He didn't run for re-election. After he ran for re-election, didn't stop his presidency, right? So, I mean, people hide stuff all the time medically. I don't know. I just feel like that's not even an argument worth even having. Like, you know what I mean? Like the guy, he's in his later years in life, right?
Yep. Prayers to his family.
Yeah, why would you want to? You know what? That's bad karma.
Yeah, I will say though, it's fascinating that the Democrats have not had a real primary since like what 2008, because they railroaded Bernie. Then the queen, she was pushed in, and one day, hopefully, the truth will come out what happened with that. But it's above my pay grade. I'll make enough talk about that. But I do think it's fascinating since 08 we haven't had a Democratic primary for a presidential candidate that was fair. Shout out to y'all in DC. I love y'all. Don't G613 classified, all that. Bilderberg, all that. Keep me safe.
Yeah. One of these things. Let's play this clip from Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy, for reference, is he a billionaire?
Close to. I think he may have 700, maybe.
He has a lot of money. He's the founder and CEO of Barstool Sports. And he sat down with Shannon Sharpe and he talked about how his ex-wife still has access to his bank account. Let's play this.
Hold on. Is it true your ex-wife have access to your bank account?
Yeah. I told you I trust her implicitly.
I beg your pardon?
Implicitly. I trust her. If she wanted to take it, she could. There's very few people that you meet where you can trust implicitly. And to be honest, she was there when we were living at the in-laws' house. She was there when we couldn't afford a hamburger. She was there through the grind. She, to me, just like we kind of separated when we started making it.
Right.
So she doesn't get to enjoy any of that.
Right.
To me, that's not right.
Wow.
I'm a loyalty guy.
You are a boy. You loyal to the song for real.
Yeah.
I don't know too many people doing that.
No, it surprises people. But she could have, if she wanted to do something with it, she could have done with it a long time ago.
If your ex-wife, is she married?
She's dating somebody, boyfriend.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah. I want her to be happy. It's true.
But then she can't get no more access, Dave. She got to cut off, cut a little.
I won't even notice if it's gone.
You mean to tell me she might?
I mean, if she takes it all.
No. But she might take like, you know what? I'm gonna have this extravagant wedding. I'm gonna spend, $500,000 on a wedding. You cool with?
Yes. 100%. 100%.
Lord have mercy. What did you learn during that marriage about yourself?
She's still my best friend. Like, we get along.
Better as friends than
Yeah,
in a relationship.
yeah, but she was with me at the beginning of this company. And like, if she called me right now, it's like, I need you, I'd be there. It's like, it just didn't work.
Okay, so he said his ex-wife has access to his bank account.
Okay.
Because she was there from the beginning. Mm-hmm. She was there when they were splitting a slice of pizza. And, all this stuff.
Okay, I'll ask you your thoughts because you seem to be dismayed by this. But is this a media story, or has she confirmed that when she log in, she can see $228 million?
I don't know what it is to have somebody have access to my bank account. I don't know what that is.
Troy said he's at
150 million. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Is there anybody who would give access to your account to?
No.
Okay.
Well, I just don't know why that's necessary. I love you with my whole heart. Mm-hmm. I love you with my heart and your heart. But why do you have to have access to my bank account?
What about debit card access?
If we're together, let alone a divorce, if we're together, why do we talked about this before? I feel like I have a bank account, you have a bank account, and then we have a family. Okay. We have a joint account, right?
Okay.
But I would never understand why somebody would have access to my bank account. I don't understand that.
Would you give them access to the debit card? Like, what do you have to go like pee real bad? And you like, baby, go to the debit card, go pay. You wouldn't be like 1284 or whatever.
Oh, that's different. Yeah, you give somebody a code. I'm talking about like a shared. Why would somebody have access? I don't know why you need to have access to my bank account. I just don't understand that.
Maybe she was the angel investor that helped finance it when he didn't have anything.
You can get paid. Angel investors get paid. They get equity and they get paid, and they could get, cash buyouts, and there's, cash considerations. And I'm all for taking care of people.
Dilutable shares, a whole bunch of options, right?
I'm all for taking care of people that have done good by you and people that's valuable to you. But I just don't understand. And it has nothing to do with money, because I could have $100, I could have $100 million, I could have $10 million, I could have $1 million. I still would think the same way. I just can't understand why somebody would have access to your bank account. I just don't understand that. If you need money, I'll just give you money.
Maybe it's guilt for what he didn't do when they were together. That was my first thought. Maybe he's trying to make up for maybe not being present. I don't know. Shout to Dave, shout to Barstool. But maybe him not being present, he's trying to make up for it by giving her that when she believed in him when no one else did. And maybe, you know, the time in the business caused the divorce and he feels guilty about that. A lot of people that's the part that's not talked about entrepreneurship. When you're on that grind mode, you may lose your relationship in pursuit of the thing.
That's usually what happens, honestly.
Yep.
Most people on that Forbes list is divorced. Why is that? Because they prioritize one thing over their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They prioritize their business over their family.
Yeah. Yeah. And fellas, y'all gotta quit saying, yo, they should stick things through. It's like, no, you should have some of that shit together before. Now I can see if you're 25 or 24, but you can't be 48 and you've been working on an idea for 13 years. Like, yo, my wife won't stick it through. It's tough, bro. It's not 1920.
Well, how do you feel about it?
I think it's crazy. So sorry. But maybe, I mean, my only way to rationalize it is if she invested heavily into the business. It's still not right, but I'm trying to think from his lens why he would do it. But would I do it? No. The ex-wife? What? And I heard she got a boyfriend.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
That's crazy. You finna take my Barstool money and take Mike to the bar? No way. Not on my dime. Sorry.
Yeah, you're out of your fucking mind. And this goes back to say sometimes in life it don't matter how much money you are. If you're a nut, you're a nut. No disrespect to him. No disrespect to him. But I don't want to like, yo, well, if you having money doesn't
alleviate the lane.
It doesn't. And it has nothing like people like, well, people are saying like people with no money is criticizing somebody with $100 million. Like you could still have an opinion. Like just
For
because
sure.
you have money, there's a lot of weirdos with money.
And a lot of people have been cleaned out sharing their bank accounts too.
Yeah.
That's not being taught. A lot of artists, a lot of executives
there's a lot of weird people, socially awkward people that are fucking have weird fetishes, fantasies. There's a lot of weirdos with money.
There are a lot of financial abuse kinks.
Kinks, all types of freaky shit that people are into because they got, but like that doesn't change who you are as a core person. It actually it'll just accelerate it even more.
Yeah.
So the money conversation to me, that doesn't mean anything. If you're a weird person, you're a weird person.
Yeah.
Just because you're rich doesn't make you not be a weird person. You're a rich, weird person. But put in chat, do you think that that's advisable to
honorable
give somebody access? And like I said, you could do whatever you want. I'm not mad at the situation because I don't care. It doesn't affect me. But I'm just saying from just a purely my opinion, I don't see why it would ever be necessary to give somebody access to your bank account, let alone somebody that you're no longer with. Like, how does that even make sense? What if you get married? Now you're gonna have 3 people on your bank account. You're gonna have you.
Because the wife for sure need access if the ex got it.
Exactly. That's crazy as hell.
That's
now
crazy.
Your wife and your ex-wife, or you're going to not have your wife on the bank account, and then you're going to have a wife that does not have access to your bank account, and then have an ex-wife that has access to your bank account.
And if both of them have access, they're gonna get in a group text together because you're the lick, and they're gonna have a lick off and leave with all the money.
And you don't think the wife is going to be looking at the expenses that the ex-wife is putting on
for
the bank account?
Sure.
I don't care if it's everything is responsible. It's still going to be triggering to your wife that your ex-wife is spending money out of your bank account.
Let alone a large amount. Boy, what do you know? So I gotta have this conversation early. But shout Dave to come talk about that blackout. I would love a clarifying question for you. So on a more serious tone, I don't want to talk about the Diddy trial or the details, but do you think he'll get time?
Diddy?
Mm-hmm. We can stay away from it.
I think if he gets convicted, he's going to get jail time, substantial amount of jail time. But I think he has a strong possibility of beating the case, or at least a hung jury. I think he has a strong possibility of walking out of that courtroom a free man, or at the very least, a hung jury.
I think the opposite. I think he may get found guilty and get a low amount of time and be out in 2-3 years.
Well, if he gets found guilty, I mean, they're all federal charges that he's facing.
Okay.
So I think there might be just a statute that he has to. I don't know. Maybe Troy. Maybe you can look it up. Like, what's the federal minimums that if he gets convicted of these crimes? Because sometimes it's not even up to the judges. It's actually like federal minimums of like 10 years, 15 years, like whatever. Like, so when I say substantial amount of time, I mean like 10 years. 10 years to me at 57 years old is substantial.
Yeah, it is. Well,
right?
You got serve 80%.
15 years at 57 years old.
Yeah,
it's a substantial amount of time. Yeah. But I think that I think he might beat the case. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. Shout out to Lauren LaRosa and everybody who's been reporting. That's not my lane that I want.
Shout out to Lauren LaRosa, man. She's doing a great job of
sure,
man. Well, if this case was actually on television, do you think it would be bigger than the OJ trial?
Contrary to popular opinion, I think so. But we talked about it, 24-hour news cycle. Puff being how big he was, larger than life. If they showed Cassie's testimony, for sure. Of course, OJ was a bigger icon, but I think the media landscape is dramatically different. There wasn't TikTok,
no social media, social
Instagram, media. It wasn't all those reaction videos.
The OJ thing was so captivating because it was a race dynamic. It was a black man who was on trial for killing a white woman, right? And so I'll never forget this. I was in 6th grade when the verdict came out.
Yes.
And my 6th grade teacher, rest in peace to Mr. Adams, he played the verdict as they was saying live. We're gonna stop class for a minute because this is a moment in history. And I'll never forget this. And he played the verdict, and he played, saying that they're not guilty. And this is 6th grade, mind you, 12 years old.
Yeah.
So my class probably about 70% black, 30% white.
And you can
all of the black kids
went crazy.
All of the white kids was disgust. And that right there was a mic, because that was a reflection of the households. So that was a reflection of the black kids' households, their parents, their mothers, their fathers. They was hearing conversations of saying like, "Yo, he ain't do it. He need to get off." The white kids, their parents was saying, "Yo, he's the worst person in the world. He needs to be under the jail." So that right there was
for sure
the first time I really saw how divided America was and I was always an observant person. So I'll never forget I was observing the behaviors of black kids and the white kids in the classroom. Stark difference. So that's the one thing that I say that the OJ trial, why it became so big, is because it really played on the race divide in America. And that was the first time that it was like on a grand scale, national news television. But this is the social media age. So if they had live cameras in that courtroom, I think it'd be a complete circus.
Headline news and CNN and oh my God, that would be.
So Troy said Combs could face up to life in prison if the jury convicts him on the racketeering charge. If convicted on the sex trafficking charge, he would have to serve a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years and a maximum of 10 years in prison if found guilty on charges of transporting to engage in prostitution. So, okay, so he's either facing life, 15, or 10.
Yeah, and I think got to serve 80%.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So, I mean, so if he gets to 10, his best case scenario, if he does get convicted, is he gets 10, then they knock that down to like 7, you know, parole out after 6, something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I would not be surprised if he walks out that courtroom a free man.
With a long probation?
No, I think he might beat the case.
Okay. Okay.
Ain't no plea. There's not going to be no plea in this situation. There's not going to be no plea deal. He's either going to be guilty or free or hung jury, and then they got to decide if they want to try him again. But I think the hung jury thing might actually happen because all you need is one person for a hung jury.
True. That's gonna be tough. The hung jury may be tough though. I think he has a better chance of beating the case outright than the hung jury.
See, the problem is he got so many different cases. He got so many different charges.
Yeah,
they could find him guilty on one charge and he's still screwed. Like he might beat 3 charges and get found guilty on one charge and still be screwed.
Yeah,
that's the problem. They layered it. But we'll see.
What I want you is what they do.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Yep.
That's a fact. Okay, valet parking. Let's show this clip from Grant Cardone, shall we?
I don't valet my car at the restaurant anymore because they're running scams. If you're sitting at the restaurant for 2 hours, they basically go into your car, park your car, pull up your GPS, find out where your home is, send 2 guys over there, ransack your place while you're at dinner. And when you're leaving, they're calling saying, hey, get out of there. They're coming home. This isn't safe anymore.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Grant Cardone.
Grant.
How do you feel about this?
I always lean on the paranoid side. So coming from where I come from, like I talk to my friends about all the little ways that people can get you. This is one of them, fellas. The girl connecting a little Bluetooth to the car because you want to vibe to a little, 444. Be careful. You want to vibe to a little Vori. Be careful because they got a little way they can pull some information that way as well. So the tracker thing, of course, I think everybody knows about that with the AirPods, but there are other trackers and stuff that are not detectable and won't pop up on the iPhone. So I always say the blackout are the lessons that you need to learn after you get the bag and become rich. This is one of them. Even on the Uber Eats orders, change your name, please. But so you got to be mindful because people will take that information. I remember when it was me, P. Who was that? Drew, Nicole. It was in Atlanta. I forgot. I won't say the name of the restaurant. Whole Maybach got stolen by the guy who was working valet. Dude came in, cool, dropped his keys. He all down. Okay, cool. Come back. Where's my car? Nowhere in the parking lot. They fake shuffling through all the keys. That's not a Maybach. Keep my boy. It's a Corolla, 2009. That don't look like it got a long ass key on it. You have to be very careful out here, especially with times being harder, finessing and scamming being more accepted. You have to protect yourself no matter what. But what do you think?
You're right. And I also think it's one of these things that Miami, they run a racket when it comes to valet parking. It's $100 to valet park your car. You don't really have an option. You go, I remember Fat Joe was talking about that with us, but like even like where he lived in like his community, like you had to valet park your car in like an outdoor community. Like the valet parking in Miami is a racket.
It's insane. Shout out to y'all, but insane.
A hustle's a hustle. I respect it on a certain level, but y'all running a racket out there.
Mm-hmm.
The prices, they force you to do it. They don't even take your car nowhere. They just park it
2 blocks over. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep. One tier up.
Because the thing of, all right, here's why valet parking in Miami is a racket. They take over the streets. Like in New York City, if you valet park your car, you go into a parking garage.
Yeah. And
they valet park it. Or some restaurants might have some, but most of the time, but you can still park on the street if the street is available. Like Prime 112, like you go to really these different things. They'll take over the entire street.
Yeah.
So you can't eat. So nobody can park on the street unless you valet park your car. So you almost have no option to valet. It's not like they're taking your car to a garage. Yeah. They're literally just holding a street parking spot, turning it into a valet parking spot, taking your keys, parking the car, charging you $100. It's crazy.
Yep. Going to your console, being nosy. Be careful.
Nah, but a couple places is tricky for the home invasions. Atlanta, Georgia, LA.
LA is tough.
I don't really know about Miami. I haven't really heard too much about Miami as far as home invasion is concerned, but Atlanta and LA. Be careful.
You have to be very careful.
extra. If you live in Atlanta or if you live in LA, and it can happen anywhere, but I'm just saying that's like capital.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I think Atlanta and LA is prime for that? Because I think people show their money a lot in those places.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the haves and have-nots. So LA is Hollywood and Atlanta is Black Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. They got them little crime syndicates or thief syndicates going around. You have to be even the hotels. You got to be careful. If you can't key up and you can just get on the floor, be careful. Sometimes the people at the front line you up. You got to be careful.
Speaking of Atlanta, how you feel about this? So, new report says Atlanta lost over 40% of its majority Black census tracts between 1980 and 2020. A new report analyzing gentrification and demographic shifts in the U.S. cities found that Atlanta lost 40% of the majority tracts in the 1980 and 2020. The metro areas with most majority Black tracts in 1980, Atlanta saw 16 of those tracts gentrified, resulting in the displacement of over 22,000 Black residents and the addition of nearly 23,000 white residents. The report identified gentrified areas based on indicators such as rising home values, changes in social and racial composition in neighborhoods like Old Fort Worth. Home values rose sharply, with one tract increasing from 345,000 in 2010 to over 1.7 million in 2020, as Black population decreased from 4,500 in 1970 to 1,500 in 2020. Similar trends were noted in West End, Westview, where more home values doubled over the decade.
To put it very clearly, they want their cities back, quote unquote. You can see it in Atlanta, especially in the West End. Shout to AUC, but going all by Morehouse, Spelman, Clark, Atlanta, you can see it when you go through Atlanta. And I think Atlanta is a revolutionary point for the country, for us. And I think that they see the growing entrepreneurship rate, the growing ownership rate, and they want to stop that. Like, to me, Atlanta is the new Black Wall Street. And if they are coming out of the suburbs and then they're doing the centers and knocking on the door, hey, can you let me in? They're just going to buy everything out. Like, the investor class owns, 35% of Metro Atlanta now, which, if you see after COVID, the first thing that's always done is the increase in price to price you out. So it's been the same blueprint. I think that it's just been exacerbated over these last 6 or 7 years, and I'm not surprised. So, but what do you think about it?
I think Atlanta, it says a lot about the times that we're in. Let's say that. White flight was real in the 70s, in the 60s and the 70s, where people left cities to go to the suburbs. And now in the 2000s, people have come back to the cities.
When they realized the commute, how long the commute was, when they realized that there wasn't entertainment value, when they realized like there was value in cities, they left the suburb to come back to the cities. Atlanta's still the Black Mecca. For sure.
It's the home of InvestFest. They got Black political power. They got, the most Black millionaires, I believe. It's still a Black Mecca, but it's concerning when you see numbers like that. That indicates that that is slowly starting to change potentially.
And then when you can mask it in AI and inflation and quantitative easing, it doesn't look like an outright takeover. But like I said, in 2007, 2008, I remember some of them homes in Alpharetta were going for $400,000. And last summer before InvestFest, like I rode through some of the houses are $2.8 million, 4,200 square feet. I'm like, what? Insane. So yeah, I think it's a definite concentrated effort to take back a Mecca and point of inspiration for us, for sure.
Because there ain't too many places. You look at Atlanta, Georgia. You look at greater DC area, but DC is more governmental employment contracts, jobs. Atlanta got the entertainment value, right? So DC is a black mecca in one regard, but it doesn't have the same allure.
Yeah,
it has real, business and government and stuff like that, but Atlanta has the allure, and that's important. Let's not kid ourselves, right? Like. Entertainment is important. Entertainment value, allure, that's important, and Atlanta has that. But there's not too many places in America where you can say, okay, this is a black center for progressiveness when it comes to black people. Like I said, I think that you have Atlanta, you have greater DC area, which includes PG County, and Montgomery County. Outside, okay, now once you do that,
small pockets of Charlotte. Very small pockets of Charlotte.
Okay.
Small pockets in Houston, very small, but
Houston. I was going to say, is Houston? You live out there. Is Houston? And is Houston
Greenberg?
Facts. Is Houston a black mecca?
I think so. Especially if you have work ethic. I think so. And I'm living proof of it, but not like Atlanta. No. I'd be lying if it was saying like Atlanta, but a baby Atlanta for sure. But Atlanta's the mecca for sure. And we have to remember at one point, Atlanta was a land of opportunity for if you were black and affordable. That's the part that's being taken away. The affordability.
Because
Atlantic Station has $4,000 and $6,000 1 and 2 bedrooms. Like most people can't afford to be in those spaces. Shout out to Tech Village, but man, it's a lot of pricing us out of the areas that matter the most. Buckhead, unaffordable for most people. Jonesboro's going up. It's insane, but it's done by.
And I'll say this too, because Atlanta gets a lot of hate from people, right? Atlanta's a city that we can't afford to lose. We can't lose Atlanta, no matter how y'all feel about Atlanta. Like we can't. Atlanta is
the culture permeates from there.
It's the most important city for black culture in America. And this is coming from somebody that's not from Atlanta. I'm from New York. But I understand and I appreciate the value that it holds. We can't afford to lose Atlanta. If we lose Atlanta, we're screwed.
Over with.
We're really screwed. Because what else do we have?
Des Moines, Iowa. Up and coming, right? Black area. Yeah. The stuff.
I mean, the Bay Area gentrified, and that's so changed that you look at a city like Oakland, right? Home of the Black Panthers, right? Is it a coincidence that Oakland loses every single one of its sports teams? Think about it. They lost the Golden State Warriors played in Oakland. They moved to San Francisco. The Oakland A's,
yep,
is no longer in Oakland. The Oakland Raiders is no longer
in Vegas.
You lost every one of your major sports teams, right? You break the heart of the city, and then you make way for a new wave of gentrification, crime running rampant, a variety of different things happen. This is strategically done. A city like New Orleans, who lost over 100,000 residents since Katrina. New Orleans has like 300,000 people now. They're just losing a lot of people, right? Yeah. They've lost a lot of people.
And the infrastructure and the money for the infrastructure is being invested there.
New York City we don't have any influence in New York City when it comes to black people. You go to New York, you got to go to a Dominican hookah lounge to actually hear some level of hip hop music, right? Like there's a few places, maybe like Saint, shout out to Saint in Manhattan. But we don't have a dominance. It's all merged. We got to latch on to other things.
What happened in New York City downtown life? Is that post-COVID?
You talking about hip hop specifically?
Yeah.
Crime. All the hip hop clubs got this happened even before COVID. This happened. This happened when Bloomberg was mayor. Bloomberg was mayor for 3 terms, so he had a very long tenure. And one of his main objectives was to clean up crime and clean up New York City and clean up Manhattan. All the clubs in New York City that was catering to hip hop community got shut down. Crimes happen, you know, people get shot, different things of that nature. So that's why people started going to strip clubs in the outer boroughs, because strip clubs not really a New York City thing. But once all of the clubs in Manhattan got shut down, then you had to go to Queens to go to a strip club to actually hear some level of rap music. Then those started to get shut down left and right. So then it became like a very small niche thing. And then, like I said, now it's like you got to latch on to similar cultures that are not directly related. Like I said, like you got to go uptown to Dykeman because it's, you know, we gonna rock with the Dominicans, but that's not hip hop culture, but it's adjacent. Like it's close enough to feel comfortable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to go to, you know, just the all white punk rock club. So you want to go to something that's at least hip hop adjacent. You might throw in a 20-minute set, play little Young Thug and Lil Baby and shit like that. So at least you feel some level of comfortability. But as far as outside of that, we don't have no real influence in it.
When they bring La Morena back,
La Morena
pop up the best fest, boy.
Rest in peace, La Morena. Rest in peace to La Morena. So yeah, we can't afford to lose to Atlanta. If we lose Atlanta, I'm really going after. I'm really going after.
For sure.
So we got Atlanta, Houston. We got Houston.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Yep. It's still Texas.
Yeah, it's a fact.
As soon as you get outside the little city limits by 45 minutes, hour 15, you get reminded you are in Texas, boy.
That's a
Merrick.
Don't get it twisted.
The Irish band. And they not asking, can they come in? So
fact though.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you think of this Joey Badass representing New York versus the whole West Coast?
Shout out to Joey.
Shout out to Joey, yo.
I think he holding it down. You know, I like that because it's fun rap. I don't think it's serious. There's no violence that's going to come out of that.
I hope not.
I didn't know the other guy. What's his name?
Rayvon? Oh,
Rayvon?
Yeah, shout out to Reese.
Is it Rayvon or is it Reason?
Rayvon. He had TD.
His name is Rayvon and Reason?
No, Reason and Rayvon are two different people. Reason used to be on TDE, shout out to the guy, and Rayvon is currently on TDE.
Okay. Yeah, I never heard of either one of them. No disrespect, but I never heard of either one of them. So,
Joey Badass gonna clip this up.
Nah, just being honest with you.
Shout out to Reese.
Shout out to DJ Head. Shout out to Stick Wise. Shout out to West. You know, West Side. That's our thing.
Sure.
I just never heard of these guys before. So I don't think that Joey had to respond like him versus Absol. Okay, that's different. You know what I'm saying? They seem more of contemporaries. Yeah. But if I was Joey, I wouldn't even engage in that battle because it's like I'm a perfect example. You gave them light. I know about them now because of this battle.
And Rayvon slid on that song, but Joey, I think he dropped 2 today or 3 today. Oh my God, Joey been on the roll, yo. He fighting for that new King of New York title. He been active by himself, and then him and Loaded Lux came out. Ooh,
him and Loaded Lux came out. Did what?
Loaded Lux on one of them discs going at Daylight. Shout out to Daylight.
Oh, word. Shout out to Loaded. I ran into Loaded Lux outside the Locks concert last year. He was like, yo, I'm trying to earn my laser, King.
Shout out to Lux. Salute.
Shout out to Loaded Lux, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lux.
Crazy. And a lot of y'all don't, I know Daylight and him going to do the, you know, but y'all don't get Lux writing for 9 days straight. Y'all going to have a long summer.
Well, you know, Loaded Lux got the best battle rap performance of all time.
The one with the casket?
You're going to get this work.
For sure.
You're going to get this work.
For sure. Icon living, yo.
You're going to get this work. That's the best battle rap. Now, I know he lost the battle to, that's my brother from Harlem. Morty Mook.
Yeah, he lost they gave it to Mook.
No, he lost the battle to Mook. But anybody
can lose. Mook tough though. We not going.
He's not a pushover. He's not a walk in the park.
Especially when he focused. Yeah.
If we talking about just if battle rap had one moment that like that, you gonna get this work moment. Top tier.
Top. Yeah.
Top
battles
tier.
list with John. What's my man name from dude? His dad was in BMF. He cooked him. Luck's tough, yo.
John tough too.
Absolutely. He ain't a pushover.
Tough. Geechee Gotti.
Yep. Sue Surf, hold your head.
Sue Surf, hold your head.
Yeah.
Hold your head.
So
how do you feel about breaking up with somebody over a text message?
Rashad. All right. It's my preferred method. I ain't even gonna hold you.
That's your preferred method.
I got too much to lose. I may voice note it. I'm gonna give you a couple of warnings up until then. But the third time the charm. Listen, even with all this pop shit and all this other. Okay, fellas, you ever been in a situation where you try to do break up in person in the house and then they won't leave? You ever had a girl like, no, we're not breaking up. I don't care what you say. That shit's scary.
That's a fact.
We're together forever. When I told you I was yours forever, and they get them little demon eyes like remnant them had in sinners. What you do? Sorry. So I know it's probably not the most tasteful thing to always do, but the let's talk in person, sit down for lunch and do it, that's tough too. Because now she crying in public at fucking poppy steak or some shit. Like, hey, try to. I appreciate you. I'm not loving enough and not deserving of a love like yours. Hopefully we can be friends. I'm gonna work on me. Maybe we can reconvene. Boop. Send a little voice note. Call it a day. Hit the block button. I'm sorry. It's too much to lose. The last thing I need on Shade Room, yo, he get to a fight and they break up and nope. I need to be at least 600 miles away when we break up. Nope. Sorry.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Now you bring a good point. Security, safety first. It's dangerous to break up with somebody in person. You don't know what what they could do. I think that is a responsible thing to do, to break up with somebody over a text message or a phone conversation. Yeah,
phone conversation. I'm not cold, but I'm gonna have a warning talk once or twice. But after that third time you don't get it, for 15th time you get it, voice note. Sorry.
Because why do we need to meet in person?
Waste of time. I got market research to do. Sorry.
It's over.
Fucking United Healthcare dropped 52%. You want to talk? Nope. Sorry.
What That's the shit like, yo, can we talk in person? No.
Yep.
No.
It's like, why don't you ever want to talk in person about what you can do better?
Exactly.
Like, I'll conference about that. I'll Zoom meet you.
The same conversation you can have in person, you can have over text message, or you can have over phone call. No, yep. I'm not meeting you in person. You're dangerous.
For sure. Especially if they look spicy, you know what I mean?
No, I'm not meeting you in person.
I am cool.
Fucking meeting Borders. That's the shit. Fucking Barnes and Noble meetup. Public place. And if you do it in a public place.
For sure.
Public place, not a car. Don't have an ending conversation inside of a car in a parking lot. That's dangerous.
No. Oh yeah, that's ugly.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Have it at 12 o'clock in the afternoon in Union Square.
A city hall. You can just be talking to a person like I'm done and they crash out. Like, why are you crashing out? You don't even know my real name. And my real name online. Like, what you just invested for? Cap. Come on. So you gotta be careful.
Y'all taking this shit too far.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, that freak off list is crazy though. We got it out. Jesus. Point. God, it's wild, boy. Ooh, God. I'm clearing the edit.
You said the real scam is being black, telling other black people not to trust anyone black.
I think that's the real scam. Especially
explain.
I really think we have maybe 3 more years for this investment amongst us movement to thrive. Not us personally, but like as an aggregate conversation. But I'm seeing a concerted effort from people who are not doing well to tell black people not to trust other black people when giving investment advice. I'm good. Like I was good when I started doing the show. I'm real good now. But if we don't build with each other, that completes the cycle with Project 2025 and with AI being ushered in, because now you can take a face off of the racism. And if you don't think that you're putting all your information in AI amongst certain companies and they aren't going to give different information based on demographic and socioeconomic status, you're crazy. Me and Rashad can put in the same question and get two different answers depending on how we prompt it. You don't think they're going to delineate between economic wealth status and those conversations based on how it's learning you? What do I know? But I hate the pseudo agents that are like, yo, Ian and Rashad, yo, the grifters, yo, I want to give back. While we do all these shows for free and give out information and books and webinars and all this other shit. Be careful of that, because those people are the ones who have not been able to create success for themselves. But I do think because of AI at scale, there will be a concerted effort, just like in Atlanta, to make this movement die down. And I'm going to go right to Berkshire or BlackRock or Vanguard or whoever and call it a day. Rashad going to go right to UBA in Africa, South Africa with Elon, and call it a day and say, hey, we tried. Because that's the other move. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to speak for me. Y'all can keep doing the little hate campaign, and I'm going to go right to they. Let me in. You pick. Because I remember what the landscape was before we came around. It wasn't that many of us that were even followed or like the information wanted to be received. And it's interesting, going back to the entitlement thing, even some of the people that we helped then become enemies. It's like, but damn, I remember when you begged to be around. It's crazy. But what do I know?
You're lame. But thank you for raising my valuation. I appreciate you.
For real. Thank you. That'd be the other part. Y'all don't factor in how I knock up that Q score right in time, too, based on the email I got today. Thank you. Thank you. Shout to UTA. Shout to UTA. Oh, thank you. Do 22 more of them. I'll pay you. Thank you. Because I'm going to take them in Chat GPT and spend all them talking points into something else. Be quiet. So, also, if you're a detractor of mine, I would love to send you the right panda. Let me monetize my own hate. I'll sign all y'all. Because clearly, I can see that skin not listening how I could. And that background was kind of, you know what I mean? So, y'all crazy for dissing for $418 a month. What do I know?
You're lame.
For sure. And a bitch.
And your girls is trash. Seen it.
See, that's the other part.
Seen it.
Hey,
seen it.
Listen, not on my worst day or with a 10-foot pole. What? From the old cables that got dug up in Europe. No. Boy, see, that'd be the other thing.
I seen it with my own eyes.
Mm-hmm. Terrible. You look dusty, both of y'all. Ooh, boy. Just kidding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And you stink. You reek of hate. Seriously. Stop wearing organic deodorant. That shit doesn't work. It doesn't.
They don't want to get aluminum in their body with the metals to poison their body, Rashad.
You gotta do something different then. Try baking soda. Yeah, a lot of y'all motherfuckers is musty, like the 90s. You can't be musty in 2025. That was the 90s, like late 80s type shit. Like, and we got artificial intelligence now. Like, there's no excuse to be musty.
For real. Yeah.
Gargle. If your breath stinks, gargle.
Chlorophyll.
You got to have hygiene. Says a lot about a person.
For sure. Sure.
You
reek of hate is funny.
Cleanliness is close to godliness.
For sure. And some of y'all some devils.
If you can't take care of your personal hygiene, how am I gonna trust you? You can't trust yourself. You can't even bathe properly.
Troy, Stop Rashad.
Yeah.
You ain't never lied though. Cool. And low key, your opinion don't matter either. I'm being real.
You're nobody. You're actually nobody. What have you done?
Sorry.
What have you done?
Sorry.
Who knows you?
I hate to even talk like this, but your opinion don't matter, my boy.
Who knows you?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
So,
Nobody knows you.
Yep.
Nobody knows you. Your own family. You gotta argue with your family at Thanksgiving type shit.
and then show your woman the video. Yo, I made this video about Ian, baby. What you think, CapCut? You crazy. You lucky I ain't on demon time. Ooh.
Clip it up.
We need to be better, Rashad. We need to be like more like Troy and don't pay the bullshit no attention.
Yeah.
In 3 years. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been real. Yep.
Tell
Elon I said what up.
Elon Musk. Stay tuned.
We ever gonna tell the story about who was supposed to be there last year or no? You gotta wait.
Man, you gotta wait on that. That's
controversial.
That's pretty controversial.
For sure.
That's pretty controversial. Just know.
Mm-hmm.
Just know. Get your tickets to Invest Fest, ladies and gentlemen. We will be announcing the lineup soon. But man, what we got working on right now has never really been done before in history. If you're in Red Panda, check Telegram ASAP. Rocky. Shout out to Denzel. We ain't talking about that, but
can we real quick before I'm with that energy. You disrespect there and get the grabbing. I'm disrespecting. You shouldn't act that way. I don't give a fuck about brand perception. No. That's how you know Denzel real free. Get your hands off me. Right, I'm gonna line you up right here at the Cannes Film Festival. Show some respect. All that. Well, you signed up to be in the public, so we get to treat you in the. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Sorry, I didn't sign up for that. I'm gonna hit that +52 and call that pay and be respectful to everybody.
For everybody, that's a fact.
That's crazy.
Denzel, wild boy, man. Mount Vernon, stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Denzel, wild boy, man. He has a history of doing this. Did this at the Lakers game when Jay-Z tried to. He was like, get off. He has a history of going AWOL.
Yeah, the puff party.
Puff party, crazy.
A lot of y'all who was rocking with him too ain't rocking how you should be. For the record,
Kid Cudi taking a stance, nasty work. Took the stand when he could have took the fifth.
I mean,
hip hop. That's hip hop.
No, he not. Boss man D-Lo. You better call Olivia Pope. Boss man D-Lo. Ooh, boy. You should have just went to Thailand, my boy. Chill, yo. Y'all, and I'm not judging. Your body, your choice.
Your body, your choice.
Whatever you want to do. But boy, whoo. So it's wild times we live in, yo.
Fuck a blog, dog, because one day we gonna meet.
No. That don't be the place to be at.
Have on your ass like I'm on it.
Be in the same spots. Never.
Nah, never.
Never.
Only by accident.
And it'd be all
you can't
love.
Be where I be, dog.
You need a visa. Yep. Visa, great company. Visa over Apple right now.
That's a fact.
Yep.
Bitcoin going crazy.
Absolutely.
Bitcoin's on a run. It's on a run.
Yeah. And all y'all who keep messaging me about Bitcoin, like I call Bitcoin 20K. Cool. I invest in the Bitcoin and my GOT shit. Like, please stop spamming me about MicroStrategy and Bitcoin if you're not independently wealthy from Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. I know Chris did it. Shout out to Wealth Squad. All y'all. But everybody else who just be spamming, yo, why you going to tell them put all the money into Bitcoin? You're still going to work every day. What are you talking about? When I did my first episode and had the screen and the glasses on, I was free then. Quit talking, yo. All these takes. Next week, can we do a revenue breakdown of most podcasters and YouTubers? I've been asking to do this conversation 4 years. See? Because they be throwing them out, man, they got 700 million. Everybody not getting 20 and 50 and 100. Okay. If they was throwing 20s and 50s and 100s around like that, we'll go live every day. Market every day, motherfucker.
Market every day.
Oh my God. What do I know? It's cool.
All right, y'all. It's been real. Tune in tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Shout out to Mal, shout out to Ray, shout out to Obi, shout out to the whole squad.
Yep.
Oh man, and stay tuned. It's called Stay Tuned Alert.
Who's the next mogul they're gonna take down?
Man, hopefully none. Hopefully none, man. We
For
need
real.
all of them. We need all our moguls, man.
Yeah.
We only got a few left.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, y'all.
I love y'all.
Stay sucker free out here. Love.